I feel like authenticity is one of my largest values in life.
Yeah,
And I have been having a slightly nagging feeling of frustration sometimes lately in both sister birth and our work here of like there's more to me than just birth stuff. Like I really passionately care about
right.
birth stuff, but also I really passionately care about a lot of other things. And so having a little space to dive into other topics a little bit feels just aligned and fun.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it's very much in line with what our whole vision for the work we do together. Like it's like this, of course we should be doing this. Like it just felt like such a very obvious idea when it came up.
Holy Wild Birth is a podcast embracing the reclamation of giving birth rooted in God's original design, undisturbed.
Here, we share homebirth stories highlighting God's presence as the great midwife, as well as conversations about all aspects of a holistic, spirit led childbearing year, from the perspectives of myself, traditional midwife Lauren Hall, of Rooted in Eden Private Membership Association,
And me, holistic birth keeper and photographer Brooke Collier of Sister Birth. Together, we are co founders and facilitators of Hearth Mother Journey, where we are raising up the next generation of holy wild birth keepers.
To choose a holy wild birth journey is to consecrate all of your decisions unto the Lord and reclaim creation unadulterated by centuries of human attempts to control and improve upon what God has called good.
Please remember that birth is not a medical event, but a natural process, and we are not your care providers, so this should not be taken as medical advice. Hi, friend.
Hey, how are
Oh my
you?
word. I'm good. I'm like giddy excited about this for some reason. I
It's
mean, I
such a
guess I could
fun
say the
it feels
reasons.
like such a fun idea. And, but it's this these new cup of tea chats that we're gonna have, but I have the very last remnants of cold fermented tea, also known as kombucha. So I did not have a nice warm cup of tea for this chat. How about you?
I don't. No, I had a nice, lovely one of my like souped up, supercharged morning mochas, but it's long gone. And
Yep.
I always tell you this when we're recording, like I don't want to break the seal. Like once I'm down in my office and the door is closed, if I leave and my children see me, it's over. So I knew I
Yeah.
couldn't afford to go up to the kitchen to make myself a cup of tea without that happening. So I don't have tea.
So we have we've already drank our beverages this morning. Yes,
Yep.
it kind of counts. We were praying
Yeah.
before this beginning episode, and that's when I was sipping on mine. It'll carry over.
Yeah, so in spite of our lack of literal tea, um, that's kind of what we're wanting to do with this new genre of podcast episode is have that kind of like tea with a friend vibe, right? Just kind of wanting to chat with each other as friends and about what's going on and inviting our listeners to eavesdrop on that with the hope that it
Yeah,
feels like hanging out with your friends while you're doing the dishes or something. It's like easier listening, not an
easier listening.
in-depth, not an in-depth birthy heavyweight
Yeah, just
topic.
more of a behind the scenes into our life and what we're doing and what we're thinking, and just more of a fun, lighthearted, you know, peek into community.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I feel like authenticity is one of my largest values in life.
yeah,
And I have been having like a slightly nagging feeling of like frustration sometimes lately in both sister birth and our work here of like there's more to me than just birth stuff. Like I really passionately care about
right.
birth stuff, but also I really passionately care about a lot of other things. And so having a little space to dive into other topics a little bit feels just aligned and fun.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it's very much in line with our whole vision for the work we do together. Like it's like this, of course we should be doing this. Like it just felt like such a very obvious idea when it came up.
Mhm.
We've been talking about like leaving social media and our why for that. We don't love being on Instagram. We don't love being on Facebook and just in this like using that as this like marketing. I don't know. It feels so, well, not authentic. It's like we want the long form relational community and, like pouring into women who really are just desiring of this type of, I don't know. I'm losing my words here, Brooke. What am I saying?
I don't know what you're trying to say, but something just deeper and more relational and less
Yeah.
like quick little clickbait blurbs, like we've just both had a growing dissatisfaction and misalignment with using those platforms. And so here we are.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
hearth mother stuff too. I feel like this new genre, so we're gonna get to this in a minute. We're gonna have 4 different kind of episode types in this new revitalization of Holy Wild Birth, and this is one of them, this cup of tea thing. But I'm losing my thoughts.
I know, right?
It's
This,
aligned with Way of the Hearth Mother too. That's what I was gonna say.
yes.
Because the Way of the Hearth Mother applies to all of life, not just things related to birth work or being a mother
Yes.
in a home birth process. So I feel like here that will show up as we talk about other parts of our lives that we're tending to, and the Way of the Hearth Mother kind of expressing itself there in varying degrees too.
Yeah. Just how we end up using it in our life all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Yeah.
subtly that'll show up, I think, which is cool. Yeah, so we are excited. I'm also reading this book right now called Stolen Focus, which I also talked about on one of my newsletters recently, but it's basically this journalist who went on this deep dive experiment or researching and personal experiment process to kind of figure out why it is that so many Americans talk about how they can't focus anymore. And he at first thinks it's all about social media, like that's the primary problem. And he ends up discovering that there's lots of other factors that have kind of fed the machine of like declining ability to focus for Americans or humanity.
Sure.
But the parts about social media in the book where he interviews the people who create Instagram and Facebook and other apps, and they're literally intentionally designed to make people hooked and addicted. And we all probably know that by now, but I think it's fueling my fire to not use those things. Like,
Absolutely.
even more. Just a reminder, it's
Yeah.
like a little pep talk about, oh yeah, that's
Like,
why I don't want to do that.
I don't want to be fueling that fire for even people who like, oh, I love your content. I want to hear from you. I want to hear like, and I don't want to be the reason they're stuck and addicted to something. Like,
Yeah.
I would rather do these long form, community based, relationally based content because I do think it's a valuable way to get actual information, right? To learn something, to hear the nuance around topics that you can't get in a reel, like there
Right.
are so many people
Nuance.
learning
Yes.
things that that you do want them to learn, right? Like I'm going to put out some great content around pregnancy or some certain issue, around nutrition or health. But you can't get all of that in a little, like all the nuance for all the people that are listening in a 1 minute, 3 minute clip or a
Nope.
carousel of images. It's like, okay, this is the basic kind of normal, but what about all of the variations of normal? And what about all the different lifestyles that are happening? And, like you can't get it all in. That's why I love the podcast so that we can get in the nuance and get in the
Mm-hmm.
grace and get in the, like, I don't know, the full picture and the context and the tone that it's being said in, and you can get that with other long form, like the newsletters or books or, like that kind of longer lasting. It's not feeding into this short term attention span. And I don't know, maybe not stereotyped, but like, I mean, it takes it oversimplifies.
Mm-hmm.
And I am too complex of a person with too much nuance. I'm not a black and white thinker. I live in the gray, and you can't get that in a
No.
quick Instagram reel.
Preach,
So
girl. I know you just got
that's
up
kind
on
of,
one of your hand carved soapboxes right there, as you like to say.
yeah, as my hand carved box. Let
I
me
am with
pull
you.
one out for you.
Yes. They have to be hand carved, of course.
They have to
Not
be.
manufactured in a factory. No.
Of course. Why would I do that? At least
Okay.
an
So
anti-milk crate, like something.
All right. Should we tell everyone before we dive into more tangential chatting about about the revitalization of Holy Wild
Yeah.
Birth? Okay.
So y'all, we're back.
We're back with renewed commitment and
Yes.
vision.
Yes. The vision. So I've been saying it's like getting a new coat of paint on the podcast. We're here. We're going to be doing the same things that we have in the past, the topical conversation, with Brooke and I, and then birth stories. But we're actually introducing two other types of genres to the podcast. So this is one of them, a cup of tea. So you'll get one of these every month with a topical conversation once a month, a birth story once a month. And then we're also going to be inviting in some of our Hearth Mother Journey graduates and other pros that are, in this birth space or birth space adjacent. So we might have, someone in here talking about lactation or talking about cycles or talking, just things that are relevant to both moms and birth workers. And even when we say our Hearth Mother Journey grads, just to like, what are they doing out in the world? And what have they been, building? One of the things with Hearth Mother Journey is they do a project that is actually for them to use in the world. And, so instead of us prescribing, you need to read this book and write this, essay and then create XYZ. Instead, it's an invitation to like, what does God want to birth in you in this year that you're going to use out in the real world with real women? And so I just want to highlight the things that they're building that are for moms so that you can know about these amazing things that our students have created. So we're going to highlight them and other pros. So there's like just creating that community, creating that connection, and getting other people that we love out on the platform, like just pull them up with us, So that's kind of my
Yes.
heart there
Because we
is
have such cool
expanding the
students.
stage.
Such cool
Yes, we do.
students. Like, they're
Yes.
amazing. So I'm excited for you all to get to meet them.
Yes, absolutely.
We also, you guys, podcasting is a little bit like, I feel the same way about my email newsletter. Like, you're kind of, because there are no like, love, and comment buttons, you're kind of like sending your voice and your heart out into this vast black abyss. Like, is anyone out there? Are you hearing me? Is this landing? So
Yeah.
we we also wanted to create a space where some conversation can happen about the things that come up on podcast episodes. So we're going to be leaning into inviting you more consistently into the community we've made on Mighty Networks. I know that social media, but it's not social media an algorithmic advertising heavy way at all. So when you get
Right.
into our Mighty Network circle, you're just in our circle. You're just there with like-minded women. And so we're going to be posting conversation starters after each episode so that there's a space for people to talk about what's come up here. And we would love to have you in there because we really do want to have dialogues with
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So we hope you'll
And
take
to,
advantage of that.
again, connect to the other listeners,
Right.
so that you can find your tribe. And, something that's really cool that has happened in Hearth Mother Journey that I could see happening in the Mighty Networks community as well is that our students have started to connect in real life. Like they've found, oh, I live in the same state. I'm only an hour away from you. And they were getting together for study dates and they were getting together when life happened and somebody was in the hospital and they, multiple students went to see her, and like there was just real things happening and real like a wedding has come out of. So, like one student met another student and then she fell in love with her brother. Like it's a whole thing. Now there's a wedding coming up next month not because of, but because these connections were made. And so it's just such a beautiful thing. And I can see that kind of real life, as we build true community that's not about advertising, but about connection in this kind of private space. I feel like that opens up that ability for you to really connect with other people that are in your region, in your neck of the woods that already loves, the things you're into. If they're listening here, there's a touch point of connection of they're in the fringe birth world. They're likely Christ followers. They're likely, home birthers and into the natural world and into this kind of different than the mainstream viewpoints on all the things that we do in our life. So I just wanted to create that bridge to connect you to these other real people, because I think in this world, like the quote unquote world, right? Like this like frenzy, off the beaten path way of living. Sometimes you can feel like the black sheep. Sometimes you can feel alone and you don't have your tribe, and you're like, I know I need one. And so I just want to help our listeners find that in this kind of, like, it's off Facebook. So even though it is a social media network, it is that, like you were saying, it's a private network. It's not getting advertisements for all of these other places. You're just going into the one place that you wanted to be in, and you're in there with those women. So
It's pretty distraction free, truly. Like,
yeah,
it's unlike when I log into Facebook. I'm like, what did I come here for? I've just spent a half
right,
hour doing something I don't even know why, and I don't remember why I logged in the first place. Mighty Networks doesn't
right.
have that problem
It
for me
doesn't
at
have
all.
that. Yeah, there's not all these
Yeah.
meandering different ways to go, and ads that pop up, and somebody ranting about something else that you weren't even trying to, like, it's just not there. It's just, this is what I came to talk about: birth and life and Jesus. And, it's good.
Yeah. Cool. So that's what we wanted to share with you all.
Yeah.
We're going to have a new podcast cover art too that we're kind of finishing
Yes.
up. So you'll notice that. Just all the things new and refreshed.
Yeah.
We're
So
excited.
we've been working on the podcast art so that, there's the cover, and that will be new and fresh. That'll be that new coat of paint. And then for the 4 different types of episodes, each one is going to have like an episode cover that when you look at the episode cover, you'll kind of know, like, you'll get to start being like, okay, this means that it's going to be a topical conversation. This means it's a cup of tea chat. This means it's an interview with a pro or HJ grad. And so you'll kind of get to know, like, quickly looking at the episode cover, what to expect. So we've got a new episode cover, and then a new cover art and 4 episode covers, complete with the use of our branding photos.
I wondered if we were going to go there. Let's go there.
Let's just go there. Goodness. We took girls carefree in front of a
No,
photo.
we're
Oh my
awkward as
goodness.
heck.
We are so awkward. We're so awkward.
Even when
And
we're
it's
trying to look
hilarious.
carefrey, we look so stiff and forced. It's like,
It's so
I don't know what's
funny.
wrong with us.
I don't.
Because
I
don't feel like we're like that when we're hanging out. But for some reason, you bring a camera into the scene and we suddenly get real weird. Yeah, so when I was down in Arkansas for our Hearth Mother Journey graduation in the fall, Lauren and I had a friend of hers come do some brand photos for us, and no fault of the photographers, but it just didn't, the results were not awesome, and it was because of us. Like, and also we like, my family has been roasting these photos with me. Like, what were you thinking? Why did you feel like you needed to sit on a bed holding a pelvis and a fetus? Like, why did you? Why? I almost wish we could show them all to you, but I don't know if we will. Yeah, there was a few good ones.
Maybe it'll be maybe we'll do a so long to social media post where it's just a carousel of awkwardness, and like, this is why we're leaving, because we can't do this.
Because we can't show up visually.
Cannot do this, y'all.
That would
like,
that would be a great way to stay humble.
Faces, just come listen.
We're better verbally.
We're so
But
much better verbally.
We are. I had a branding shoot done for myself, like for Sister Birth recently too, though. And I haven't gotten the photos back yet, so we'll see if I am bad there too. I'm a little nervous to get them back. I'll keep you posted. But I did it. I almost canceled it because I'm like, I don't use social media that much. Why do I need branding photos of myself? But it was the day before my 45th birthday. And it kind of felt like also a little bit of a 45th birthday processing and gift to myself maybe moment. Like, here I am. I'm 45. I don't know. And I got my family in on some of the photos too. So it's also kind of a family shoot. But 45 has felt sort of significant. I can't either.
Oh, that's exciting. I am turning 39 in a couple weeks, and I'm so excited to turn 40 next year. Like, I am already celebrating. It's ridiculous. I'm 38, and gonna be 39 in 2 weeks. But in my brain, I'm like, I am turning 40 so soon. Like, I'm so excited. Just like, I'm gonna be 40. I have made it. I don't know what I've made it to other than 40, but like, that feels so good. And but
Yeah.
I'm the person that's just like, I'm excited about the gray hair and the silver hairs coming in. And I'm excited about the future of grandkids filling my
Mm,
house. And and I say all that to say, like, I've got two twin 1-year-olds. Like, why am I
right.
thinking about being a grandma? I don't know.
Well, because you also
But
have a
I'm excited
teenager,
about it.
like an older
I also
teenager. So
have
you're
someone who's going to be 18 next year. So
right. You're doing the
yeah,
straddle parenting, I've heard it called, or you're straddling these
I
two
am.
very different age groups
Very different
simultaneously as a
worlds.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which I have too, but to a lesser extent.
I have, Aiden will be 18 next year. And then, so we've got some I've got my second is entering into high school. I've got middle schooler. I've got two in elementary, one in the preschool area, and then toddlers.
Hmm.
So like we're just all the way through in all of the kid stages right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just stepping out of that like baby stage, and they're toddling around and trying to find words and walking
Mm,
and whatnot. So it's just I don't know, it's a fun place. But I love getting older, and I love my kids getting older in the sense of like watching them become who they are and
mhm.
blossoming and seeing like it's been so fun, especially with my oldest in the last recent, like he went to Brazil, and that was really a catalyst in his life. Like he went on a mission trip last year. He's gearing up to go again. But there was something, that boy came back different.
Mm,
I remember seeing it when he got off the plane, and I just watching him, and I was like, he grew up. Like he has shifted, and he had broken out of his shell. He's on the spectrum, and he's just always been very like enclosed and living in his own little world, and just sit in his bed reading his books. Like that's what he would do, just books all day long. And he would emerge to do his chores and help around the house if we needed him, and then he would just close back in. And now he still does that, but he now has a group of friends. He now has like a Bible study he's doing weekly, and he's just burst it out. And there was something
mm,
beautiful that happened in going on that mission trip and seeing a bigger world, which is funny because we traveled the country, and it's not like he had
right.
been, like he'd absolutely been all over the country. And he does talk about how that really helped him a lot. But there was this thing, I don't know. I'm on a tangent, which I guess that's the point of these call or these
Yeah.
podcasts. But it's been so fun to watch him grow older and this like see who he really is and what God put in him, and it
For
coming
sure.
out to really this is who he's always been. And yet there's this newness to it that's just so beautiful, and it's such a blooming, and I
Mm,
just love it. I had teen years has been the best years. It has been the funnest years of
yeah.
parenting. Like everybody was always like, just wait till they're teenagers. Oh, you're gonna have so many teenagers in
I
one
hate
house.
that
And I'm just like,
narrative. I hate it.
it is not true.
No, I
It's
really
just
don't think
not
it has
true.
to be. Yeah. I mean, I only have one teen and she's just about to turn 14, so I'm not as deep into the
Uh-huh.
teen years as you, but I'm already enjoying it so much. It's a really
So much
lovely
fun.
new way to get to relate to one's own children and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just kind of seeing who they are and dreaming with them about their future and trying to facilitate them stepping more fully into what they're made to do in the world and like
Mm-hmm.
even the maturity. Like last night I was solo parenting for the night because one night a week Tim and I give each other a night off, so like
Oh,
we each
that's
get a
cool.
night to go do whatever we want and not worry about bedtime or cleanup. So his night was off last night, and Hazel, my oldest, was asking me for to do all these things for her, and I was like, okay, yes, I will add that to my list. And I said, I feel like I'm drowning, which I've been in kind of a
Oh,
season of a little overwhelmed lately. And she's like, okay. And she went to her room. And then about 2 minutes later, she came back out and she goes, is there anything I can do to help? And I was like, we have arrived. Like, just
you have
the
arrived.
maturity to
Yeah.
like see your mom as a person and proactively offer to help. So she helped me
Yeah.
like clean up, and then we went and sat on my bed and worked on the stuff she needed my help with together. So we did it
Yeah.
all together, and that wouldn't have happened with an 8-year-old or 6-year-old,
Right.
you know? It
Or it
was sweet.
happens in such a way that it's like, it was so sweet that you wanted to help.
Yes.
You just made
Yeah.
that bigger, but that's okay. Thank you for helping.
Right, yeah. The helping of a lower elementary or preschool student is not very helpful.
It's like, yeah, thank you for that.
Mhm.
And so it's just, yeah, it's been amazing, like having 3 at this point that are truly helpful and truly like seeing, I don't know. And it's not just about them being helpful by any means. It's just
No.
that's one of the like big obvious changes that happens that you're like, it's like, oh, I'm not in it alone anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you're needing me in a different way, and it's such a cool thing to see. My church talks about it as being like the first you're like the coach and you're having to coach them through life, and you're trying to, like you're training them through how to do things, and and you're really the coach, but then as they get older you have to switch to the cheerleader, and you're like, okay, you've got it, I'm on the sidelines and I am
Mm.
cheering you on, and being that encourager, and it's such a cool shift, um and it takes some like being able to step back and let them be who they are, and go, I can't cheer that, but let's do this. Like it's just I don't know, it's been the best years of parenting in my it's and I guess I can't say, I mean, there's sweet things about each of the stages, but it's just been truly everything that I hoped it would be and more. And it's just been blessings that I didn't know to expect have been in this season. And all of the like fear mongering that I got about having
Yeah.
multiple teenagers has just not been true. Like,
Mhm.
and like they've been connected. They want to be a part of the family. My oldest, who's going to be, he's almost 17, going to be 18 next year. And he's just like, you want to have a family? Can we have a family game night? Let's do that. Hold on. I will put my book down and come out, or I will, get off my video game and come in. Like he wants to be a part of the family. Like we've built connection, and that connection has stayed. And so,
Mhm.
yes, he still wants to hang out with his friends and game with them and all the things. Like there's normal teenage stuff. He's not just some weird
Right.
unicorn, but but he also values his family, and we get good deep conversations, and it's been fun.
I love that so much. And I was trying to mute myself because 2 of my children are yelling at each other on the other side of the wall about cat litter.
That's real.
That's real. So I
About
just thought,
cat litter.
I'll just unmute. Yeah. Walter, why did you throw it in the cat litter? I'm guessing he took some precious item of hers and put it in the litter box. I don't know. But it's
Yeah.
loud. So if you hear that, I apologize.
So those are your
Yeah.
not teenagers.
Though, right. That's 8. Those are my 8 and 10-year-olds having a spat. Yep. The
So we
middles.
have less of those as they get older, and that's why it's beautiful.
Right. Yeah. Looking forward to that for sure.
That's so funny. Right on cue,
Yeah.
right?
Totally it was. Yeah. So I am off call for this summer, and I didn't do that by
Fun.
design, but I think it's really good. Like I'm actually really excited about it. Again, it wasn't intentional, but it just further proves to me that the Lord kind of knows when we need our
Hmm.
breaks, And
Yeah.
whenever he does this, like slows things way down like that for me, I'm like, I know there's some reason, and I'm just gonna wait and see what that reason is. Like, you're up to something here, and I trust you with it. But being off call means I get to plan a summer, and we can like
Mhm.
go places and like do things that I don't have to worry about whether or not I have a signal on my phone, and if I can get
Right.
out of the place quickly.
All the
So,
things
just kind of
wonderful.
dreaming,
Yeah,
like how to like live it up since it's happening. How do I make the most out of it? And we're
absolutely.
gonna take a couple trips and hopefully just do some bucket list things off the grid. And I'm also gonna do because I'm off call, I'm signing up with this writer I follow on Substack. Her name is Laura Wilbert. And she's leading her community through a 3-month experiment with like getting off social media and replacing that with creativity. Like
I
for
love
her,
that.
it's writing because she's a writer, and I probably will write too because I do have a book, as I know you do too, kind of wanting to come out of me.
Yeah.
But I may also try some other forms of like I might pick up my camera again because my big camera that I used to have attached to my hip for the first 10 years of my
Mhm.
parenting. I just haven't been carrying it around, and I've been thinking lately it might be fun to pick it up again and use it just for my family, not for work, just for
Yeah.
creativity and
Just to
expression.
tell the story of your family.
Yeah. And then
I love that.
Laura Wilbert is hosting these calls once a month where we can all get on and chat with her about how it's going and what we're learning. And she's sending like reflection questions each month that you can kind
Mhm.
of work through to dig into the like things beneath your social media usage. I think it'll be fun. Kind of a
That
communal.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, you can do it with me
You
if you
should
want.
send me that link. We should probably put it in the show notes. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I will. And it's like it's free. You have to be like a paid subscriber to her Substack, which
Okay.
is not it's not a huge deal. Um in order to like be a part of it, but that's all she asks. So it's not like an expensive program.
Yeah. What is
Yeah.
the subscriber? What's that look like to subscribe to it?
I can't remember the price. I pay per year. I think it's 30 some dollars a
Oh,
year.
okay.
So it's not
Not at all.
yeah, it's totally reasonable in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I can
Might
definitely
look
share
into
that with
that.
show
It
notes if
might be
anyone wants to do that.
good motivation, accountability to get my book finally finished out. It's been such
Mhm.
it's well past due. It was supposed to drop,
Yeah.
last year? And then I had twins. Well, I got
That'll slow
pregnant
you
with
down.
twins, and that's when it slowed me down. I was like, the pregnancy is when I was writing it, and then the pregnancy and then the birth of twins it was more on my plate while building HJ that it was just like, okay, I bit off way more than I could chew, but it's like 60-75% done, and I need
I
to
know you're
just
so close.
get in there and finish it.
I'm excited for it. Yeah. Okay, you're going to do this with me. I've decided.
You've
You're going to do
decided. Thanks.
it. Well, also, doesn't it coincide so well with us, like our renewed commitment to not even try to use social media for
Yes.
what we're building together? Like, I feel like that's actually
Yeah.
really neat that this matches up. That challenge I
Yeah.
had already committed to in
Very
my heart
aligned.
and hadn't even told you about. And then in our prayer times about how to proceed with marketing, I put that
Yeah.
in air quotes because the word sounds so corporate, but we were
Yeah.
like, it just doesn't feel an integrity to use social media anymore. Like we keep
Yeah.
going back to it because it's like message that we should, but we don't want to. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
We've
done.
always kind of been like, okay, we're not doing it. And then we're launching. I guess we're supposed to. So let's put it out there. And then it's like, okay, we're not doing it. And then we don't do it. And then it's like, oh, we're launching. And now we're being even more salesy because we haven't been using it. And now it feels like this is the only place to talk about it. So now the only thing that's happening is sales, which is the exact opposite of what we want to do. Like,
Yes, you're right. That is
so
exactly what it's been.
so we're just like, okay, we're making the commitment, zero reliance on the Instagram posts and the putting it out there in that way. We're going to make a beautiful little welcome mat. So if you find us that way or you send someone there, they can see. And it's just like a house of the links of where to actually find us. And I'm excited about that. But yes, tangent. I love that this challenge is so in line with exactly what we were already committing to.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have to find how to sign up on that and
I'll help you out.
finish out
You'll
the Way of the
also,
Hearth Mother book.
yeah, you need to do that. And you'll appreciate too. Laura talks about how she believes it's a myth that books get sold through social media even. So like that
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be that dependent. And you and I have talked about that
right,
too. But we live in a world that would have us believe that unless you have a huge following with high engagement, you can't do anything.
right.
And I'm like,
Yep, it's true.
I don't want to buy it. I don't think unless we create a different way that might continue to be true, but
Yeah,
let's create a different way.
let's create a different way. We will.
Anyway.
The roads
Okay.
diverged in a yellow wood, and I.
Took the path less traveled by.
Yes, it was one of my favorite poems as in high school. Anyway,
Yeah, that's a good
we're
one.
gonna take the road less traveled.
Here, here. Cheers. Did you tell me you were going to be
Starting
painting?
imaginary cups of tea.
Yeah. Cheers with our imaginary tea. Did you tell me you were
Yes,
gonna be painting this room you're sitting in? What color?
yes. So I'm going to put there's this, so the walls are like this. They were supposed to be a gray. It was not a paint I did. Like it was like that when we moved in. And it's this like gray, but like in most light looks lavender. It's very strange. I don't
Hmm.
love it. And so I'm gonna put a fresher kind of warm white up.
Mm.
And then I'm painting the trim and the doors and everything this like deep, almost black green. So like just
Oh.
a deep, deep green.
Uh-huh.
And so it'll be that, because I almost wanted to do a lighter green than what I'm going with for the trim and stuff. I was going to do like a dark green on the walls, but I was afraid because I'm on this whole like no light, no artificial light journey. It was like, it's going to be too dark in here. And I do have
Yeah.
amazing windows in this room, but I've only got like one incandescent bulb and we use oil lamps and beeswax candles. And this is my prenatal room. And so I just was like, I have to work in here. This is where
Mm-hmm.
my mama's
Meet with
home
clients.
and
Yeah.
me. Yeah. And so I just was like, okay, I can't make it too dark if I'm not going to use light. So,
Fair.
like on a nice cloudy day and there's one incandescent light bulb in here, it's like, it needs to be white. So
Yeah. Then you'll
I'm
get the
going
light
with
reflection from the window light and
right.
yeah.
So I'm going to do the deep, moody colors that I'm wanting. In the trim and on the doors, because there's two doors here and there's quite a bit of trim and these big window sills and stuff. So I'm going to bring it all in there. I might do it on the ceiling as well.
Like the dark color
And
on the
then,
ceiling?
yeah, I've seen that.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'm going to paint everything else first before I decide that, and then
Mm-hmm.
I will bite or
Wisdom.
not. Yeah. And then I have this old antique, it's like a kitchen Hoosier pie cabinet thing that I've
Mm-hmm.
used for the longest time. Like it's been used as the apothecary. It's been used as like right now it's a bookshelf with the like printer hidden under the bottom, and then the drawers in the bottom have like my tea bags that I can quickly send things off with my clients and or whatever. So it's like got this and it's got the baby scale for my postpartum moms when they come. And so it's just this like, you know, cabinet that looks pretty, but it's this yellow that I don't love. It's a very like dirty pale yellow,
Mm.
and I'm going to revitalize it with a deep burgundy.
That's
So
another one of your
everything
colors for
in
sure.
it is. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got a whole like collage mood board I should show you on my Pinterest that is like,
Ooh, I want to see
I've
that.
got the beige linen on the bed and I've got the green velvet couch. And then the new paint colors, we're going to put up a bunch of like the antique gold framed items. And just I've been collecting art pieces. I've got some really pretty gold green glass. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Um, Glass like uh, bottles that are all along the windowsill and beeswax candles and stuff. So it's like a whole moody, like boho academic. Very me.
That sounds so fun. And if we were on Instagram, I would say you should make an Instagram post showing all the pictures of your mood board and your progress.
Right.
But we're not.
But we're not. So you just have to see it. Maybe I can send some pictures in the newsletter eventually when we get those out.
There you go. I do love a good like home reno project, like it's amazing what paint can
Yeah.
do to just make a space feel new and fresh and like or
Right.
rearranging furniture even can be so energizing. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And you guys put down new flooring in your house too. So
Put it in
you're
the
really
Mighty
like,
Networks.
yeah, wow, we could share photos like that in Mighty Networks. I still
Yeah,
haven't
I
shared
could
photos
show
of
them.
my office that I redid either, I don't
Yes,
think.
you redid.
Well, maybe I did in my newsletter a tiny bit, but not like a full tour of
Yeah,
my
that would be
space,
fun.
my she room.
Your she
Yeah, I'm
room.
loving it.
It's
Instead
awesome.
of a she shed, it's a she room. I don't know. But my
Yeah,
husband keeps
I mean, it's
stealing
a
it and
thing.
he offices out of my she room now. And I'm like, it's my she room. You need to go back to your closet. Because we used to
Sounds like you need to
We used to share
update
a
his,
literal closet as our office.
yeah, your like walk-in closet. Yep. So
Yeah.
you should probably just update that for him so that he has his own little he room, she
Yeah,
room.
maybe he's waiting for me to do that for him. I don't know. It needs to be decluttered and purged, and
Yeah.
he wants whiteboards. He's a whiteboard guy. So if we can get some whiteboards up in there, he'll be a happy camper.
Yeah. I can see that. He's definitely a whiteboard guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Needs the whiteboards and the Post-it notes.
Post-it
I don't
notes.
really use either one that much, but well,
Really?
you and I mapped out all of Hearth Mother Journey on Post-it notes originally.
Yep. That
Remember
is a
that?
fun photo. That
It is. That's true. Uh-huh.
I
Of
wish
us
there
working
was
on
more
that.
ways
Like,
to use that photo because that is a fun photo for me. But yeah, I
mhm.
do. I love Post-it notes and index cards, like the old school, just mapping things out that way, writing stuff that way. I think that's why I love the Zettelkasten, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm a Post-it note and index card kind of gal.
Well, now that you've used the word Zettelkasten, you know you're going to have to explain that at least briefly.
At least
Because
briefly.
that's not a word anybody knows. Cliff's Notes
Some people
version.
know
Cliff's
it.
Notes version. No, not really. Probably. This is one of your obscure neurodivergent interests.
It really is. It's fair. That is fair. So a Zettelkasten is a form of note-taking and knowledge creation, like a knowledge-based creation, where you are using index cards to take notes. So like whether you're reading a book maybe, and you have, as you're writing those notes, so like using a highlighter in the book, you're writing these notes on these index cards, and then it is a form of it's taking that notes and actually using it to learn instead of just being like, I read it and I highlighted and kind of losing that information. It's then taking the information you've written down and going, okay, how do I want to integrate that into my life? Like, what does this make me think of? How am I, and like writing that idea and any other ideas that it created in you on main cards, and then you have a set of index cards. So you've got those like bibliography cards of like what came from the actual source, like quoting from them. The main cards are like integrating those ideas with your own thoughts and your own notes. It's a really great way of like writing a book, or using these notes to create something. So like its end goal is generally to write articles, write research papers, write books, that kind of thing, write your newsletter, whatever. And then you have the index so that you can find those easily. And the man who kind of this time is Zettelkasten just means like index card essentially in German.
Oh, okay.
It's a note card. I'm gonna forget how many. It was like 40 books and 70 published articles, or 70 books and 40 like he just, because of his Zettelkasten, he was like, this is what has allowed me to be as productive in my writing because of the way he took his notes and organized them so that they all have a conversation with each other. So I had a hyper fixation on it for a while. and I love because it just is really how the brain works, and it feels complicated, but when you start doing it, it like really is, it's how the brain works. And so that's why it works well. So yeah, I love my index card notes and being able to kind of create the book in that manner.
So fun.
Yeah.
I will admit that it feels super intimidating for me to even think about starting that up. Hey, well, okay, so here's a quick question. Do you think that, so we use
Yeah.
Trello a lot. Do you think one could use
Mhm.
Trello in a sort of Zettelkasten way if one was more of a digital?
Kind of. It's kind
It would be
of,
limited.
most people, yeah, it's a little limited as far as the like indexing them, and because you end up hyperlinking your cards in a way so that they have a conversation with each other. And so there is a digital Zettelkasten platform that people use. It's called Obsidian.
Interesting.
And so a lot of
Oh,
people will do it a digital Zettelkasten. I really like the handwritten, writing it out format.
the analog.
But yes, you can. Yes, the analog ways. And I want my old antique like library card catalog. I'm still looking for one.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just a return to analog. But yeah, there's a lot of people who use Obsidian. But Trello is it's very, you can kind of link, but it's not as smooth to link that way.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That makes sense. Cool. Well, thank you for giving us
it's
the
essentially like a
download on
mind
that. We
map.
can link to Zettelkasten in the show notes too for anyone who wants to try that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, there's a few different people I
Yeah.
follow, so I can send them that way. Kathleen Sprocklin
Cool.
is probably my favorite.
Yeah. I have not dug into it.
It's definitely an
Anything else?
obscure born like thing.
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay.
I have a lot of
Man,
those.
what else is going on? Do you have any other things you wanted to randomly chat about today? You were we were talking
Let's
about
see.
you kind of already touched on the light thing, but your glasses.
Yeah. So I've definitely been on a whole, like I've been saying, I'm just assessing my relationship with light. And I really got onto like this thought process of like it says in Genesis that God ordained the sun and the moon to be governing of our day, right? The sun governs our day, and the moon is the lesser light to govern the night. And I just kind of started like, from a health standpoint, was looking at this, our circadian rhythm, and just even things like preeclampsia and things like, blood sugar, metabolisms, all of our stress levels, our fight and flight, like all of these things are related to our relationship with light and like how artificial light is just everywhere. It's not just your screens, but like the LED lights and how the LED lights are messing with our brain because they flicker past, like they're just constantly flickering. And your brain is reading that as like the light going on and off, even though your eyes can't see that. And there's such a blue light and it's messing with our sleep. And I had a lot of, kids struggling with their sleep. And I was dealing with insomnia, and the more it was uncovering, I was like, wow, my day is not governed. Now my daytime and nighttime is not governed by the sun and the moon as he ordained. It is
Yeah.
governed by this little light switch that I can turn on to say, well, I'm awake, so I'm going to use it. And so we switched, and it's been a long journey, but it's become more and more a thing in the last, I don't know, couple of months. And I bought the Viva Rays when I needed new glasses. So I got prescription Viva Rays that have these the yellow blue light blockers that magnetize to the front. And then in the evening time, if I'm around light, like if I'm at church or driving or something that is outside of my normal routine, as far as like not just being in the house. Like we've stopped using lights in the house unless it's absolutely necessary. And then if we do, we have our blue light blockers on, but we're just using the sunlight. And then we light candles and oil lamps as the sun goes down, and eating dinner with
Cozy.
candlelight, and trying to eat. It's changed our schedule, and people are going to bed earlier without any issue, and attitudes have
Yay.
shifted. Like there's been less sibling angst in the evening. People are more
Awesome.
regulated. It's been amazing. So yeah, that's what we've done. My husband and kids were a little like, Mom has lost her mind.
I'm sure.
And then they were like, what is happening? But they're all in now. So we're waking up
Okay.
I'm not forcing everyone to wake up with the sun, but like they're kind of starting to do it
Just
anyways. Like just
naturally.
naturally is happening. My oldest was like, hey Mom, I noticed that I'm like waking up earlier and just like feeling good
And you
without
are
that.
too,
Like I wake
right?
up
Didn't
and
you
I'm
say
just,
you're kind of
yes, I am.
naturally?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been waking up with the sunrise, and we go outside and put our feet in the ground, and I can walk up to the garden and just have been waking up with the sun. And then
I love it.
I used to deal with such hard insomnia, and I would just be like, oh, I'm
Mm.
just a night owl. It's how I've always been my whole life. And I
Yeah.
would
I've heard you
jokingly be
talk
like,
that
well,
way.
I'm a midwife, so it's
Right.
just, like I'm up at night, and it's just how I was designed. And it was like, no, I just dysregulated and I have no
Ah,
healthy circadian
interesting.
rhythm.
That's an interesting aha moment for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very much, I've been, ready to go to bed much sooner, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And where I was like falling asleep at 2 a.m, like just
Mhm.
drastically in a very quick time has that changed for me. So not bringing in those artificial lights, not using the big lights. We have, like I said, the candle lights, the oil lamps, and we also have some salt lamps in a lot of the rooms because that gives like
that's
a
a good
nice
idea. Pinkish. Yeah.
pinkish light, and it has some negative ions that are bringing health. So if we do need some lights, we have, we can have those, and we just move them around the house as we need. And so, yeah, it's been so good. And I let the thing that really changed it for my family, besides, I think they just thought I was going crazy, but they listened to one podcast that kind of like culminated all the things I had been studying on my own into one listen. And I was like, can you just listen to this? And so I'll drop that in the podcast, in the show notes too, because they listened to
Yeah,
it.
let's do that.
My older kids and my husband, but my husband was listening to it and they kind of joined in. And it was like, all of a sudden I had the buy-in. Like they were all like, okay, you've not lost your mind. This makes sense. Okay, we'll try it. We'll at least give it the good old college try. And so, but at that
I'd
point,
like to
my
listen to
husband
that
was
too.
fully on. He was like, I thought you were crazy. I'm really used to going your crazy things, but like I'll be honest, I was a little upset about this. Like, why can't I just turn the light on? And he was like, now I get it. And then we did it like 2 or 3 days where we were all really on board, and everybody was like, okay, we're not using the light. We're going to use the candles, or we're not going to, like, it's going to bed. So the sun is down. Like, let's go outside, watch the sunrise. Let's go outside, watch the sunset. And we did that. And literally like day 2 or 3, and my husband came to me the next morning and he was like, everybody just went to bed. Like they just
Naturally.
went to bed. There was no fighting. We said, the sun is down. It's time for sleep. And everyone went to their beds and went to sleep. And I was like, I know. He was
Amazing.
like,
That truly
I'm
sounds
in.
amazing.
I'm fully in. He was just like, I'm fully
in.
in. Like that was enough. Like, so
It's
it
so
shifted
interesting.
bedtime.
I'm
The
interested in
twins have
this.
been sleeping
Yeah.
better. Like it has
Good.
made, like, even though I'm still waking up in the middle of the night to nurse the twins, they've been sleeping deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And like going right back to sleep. They're not like, it's just been so much nicer. So yeah, we are on
Very
the
cool.
no artificial light train and loving it.
Okay, I'm gonna dig deeper. I mentioned it offhandedly to Tim this morning. I was like, hey, hun, do you know the Halls took all the light bulbs out of their house and they just use candles now? And he's like, what? His first
What?
response was definitely like, that's psycho. But
No
like
psycho.
Brandon,
They've
he
lost their
often,
minds. Yeah, Brandon
there's so
was
many
very
times
much.
that I've presented things to him over the years when he's like, you what? You want to do what? Why? But he
You
comes
want me to
around when
collect
presented
all of
with
our
good
water from the
information.
spring?
I
Yes,
have not asked
yes,
him
I
to do
do.
that because we don't have any springs here,
I'm so
unfortunately.
sorry.
Also, what would be interesting about the light experiment, like we're in a more northern latitude than you are, And so like in the winter, our days are very short, and in the summer, they're
Yes.
very long. So I guess you just get used to having like your wake and sleep times vacillate with seasons, which
Being
seems
different.
appropriate and
Yeah.
right,
That's
but
actually
the differences would be pretty dramatic.
it is. And the gentleman that is in the podcast that I mentioned, he's in a northern state and he talks about that. And he's like,
Okay.
he's like, it's not about getting 8 hours, 9 hours of sleep a night. It's about sleeping with the seasons. And you need more sleep in the winter. It's the season of rest,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like you're
sure. For
supposed to be
sure.
sleeping more.
Yes.
And
Yep.
then you're getting a
Agree.
lot less sleep in the summer, and you're waking up with that energy to be in season. So it's very much a part of the seasonal conversation and living cyclically
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
And even then your cycles
he
are
doesn't eat
impacted by
after the
that.
sun is down.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting. So
So
then there's
it's
some
he
like
talks about
built-in
the
intermittent fasting
eating
happening, which is
yes.
like,
Yes. He talks about
like
that a little
without
bit.
calling it intermittent fasting, that's what's happening, especially in the winter when the sun goes down at like 5
Yeah.
and then doesn't come up again
Yeah.
till 8. Like that's a long time to go without eating.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And he talks about that of like you shouldn't eat after the sun is down. And that if you're gonna fast, you should be fasting your dinner, and like you shouldn't be fasting your breakfast should be the biggest meal of the day, and then the lunch should be like a middle amount, a moderate amount, I guess, and then your lunch or your dinner is a lighter, or if you're fasting or whatever, then that would be where you would fast. But depending on the seasons and all of that, that's where you would work that in. And I was like, that makes so much sense physiologically.
Uh-huh.
So I've been very, I don't know, it's been revolutionary, and I've been seeing fruit very, very quickly. I will say the kind of hilarious kind of downside to it is like especially the more I've worn my glasses, like I am so bothered now by the artificial light. It's kind of like when you purge artificial fragrances, or you purge the like highly processed foods that you weren't bothered by before. All of a sudden, if you smell, you walk down the cleaning aisle and you're like, oh my God, the fragrance is awful.
Yes, I know that feeling.
It's
It's
the
awful.
same thing with the lights now. I'm like, that's
Oh,
like, why are you trying to attack
it's like
me?
so abrasive. Okay.
It's so abrasive. So it's like it's made just using those lights. It's almost like I cannot go without my glasses in other areas, like going to church or whatever. Like I'm like, I can't function out here with y'all's fake
Okay.
lights. Living in
Yeah.
it's like trying to live in the cleaning aisle in Walmart. You're like, I can't function. Let me go hide.
That is a little downside, but yeah,
So,
maybe still
I
worth
mean, but
it.
we've got the blue light blockers to deal with it, but it's
Yeah.
definitely, I'm like, oh wow, that same phenomena happens of like I wasn't bothered by it now before, but now I very much am,
And
and
now
I'm like,
you
please
are.
don't turn on the light. Please don't turn on that. So,
You're ruined for the
anyhow,
ordinary.
I am,
Yeah.
but I
Huh.
already was. So,
That's true. In other areas, it's just another area that you're
yeah,
ruined for the ordinary now, right?
yep,
Oh. Yeah. One thing, speaking of light, that we're gonna do this summer, it's one of those bucket list items is so you know how most people no longer can see the night sky truly because of light
right,
pollution. And the
yeah,
closer you live to a city center, the more that's the case. And we live like
mhm,
15 minutes north of a mid-sized city, but the light pollution effect is enough that I look at the night sky and I'm like, yeah, I know there's so much more there that I'm not seeing. And
yeah,
like, I want my kids to see a real night sky. And we went
hmm,
to the planetarium downtown recently where they show it to you, like, in the
yeah,
planetarium, like a fake way, but like that's what it should look like. But because of light pollution, it doesn't. So anyway, Michigan has 3 different registered dark sky parks. Have you heard of those? They're
I
these
have
places
not,
that
but
you have
I
to
am
be like
putting it on my
certified.
list. Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a directory like online of like dark sky parks around the country, but they're a certain amount of distance away from all noise pollution so that you get an
right.
actual vision of a true night sky. And you can't have any lights on in there. Like you can't even bring in a
Yeah.
flashlight unless it's a red light one. So you have to arrive before sunset and park your car so that you're not have your headlights on, and then
Uh-huh.
find a spot to sit and wait for it to get dark so you can see the stars. So there's one up in northern Michigan, not super far from where we're going to be staying for our Upper Peninsula trip soon.
I
So I'm
love
hoping we
that.
can jog down there on our way home and see a true night sky.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I remember seeing true night skies as a child in a couple different places, and it feels so sad that I haven't seen it in so many years.
Yeah,
So we're gonna hopefully get that in this summer.
that's awesome. I'm gonna be up that way in the end of the fall, and we're taking our vacation that time as well. So I'm gonna be putting that on.
Oh
Is it a park
yeah.
that like can you camp there, or is it just you come and then leave, or like are you allowed to camp?
They may vary. The one that we're gonna be hitting up, which is called Headlands Dark Park, does not have camping. So you just have to come in, I
Okay,
guess, if I understand correctly. I should probably brush
gotcha.
up on that. So another thing you can do is find campgrounds really close to the dark park. So you're like basically in the same area and you're still getting a
Right,
better
you're
night
just not
sky
in the
experience.
yeah. So we camped in it wasn't like a dark sand park by any means, but it was out in the middle of nowhere in Arizona,
Hmm.
and there was almost no light pollution. It was just other people who lived in that area, but it was like they lived 6-7 miles away, but like you're there, and they had their lights on in their own home, but it was largely, you could see the night sky. You could absolutely see the night sky. And then you could even see way off in the distance where there was it almost looked like the sun was trying to set and it was the city. You're like, that's
Yes.
the city over there.
Huh.
Or sun trying to rise, but anyways, it was beautiful being there. That we lived off grid for 6 months in that space, and it was just,
how
well, maybe
cool.
3 months. We were off grid for 6 months, but we were only in that space for about 3. But it was so beautiful then to offer, to just experience that. And I would now, with everybody on this journey and my family, I think we would just even more so appreciate.
Oh, I'm sure.
that.
Yeah.
So definitely have to put that on our list.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll be up in the northern lands for a little bit later in the fall.
So exciting.
Okay.
Well, this has been a fun
I think we've
meandering.
officially rambled in the way that we intended.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that I'm going to look very much forward to these little conversations. It's kind of fun to just be able to chat with you and then maybe offer an insider look into our lives and get to know us a little bit better. And do you want to pray for our listeners and maybe any births that might be coming up, or just what's going on in their lives, that God would just be present?
For sure. I'd love to.
All right.
Father in heaven, I thank you that you are with us in the casual, rambling chats and joyful moments of friendship, just as much as in deep dives into theological or philosophical concepts. That you are in all and through all, and we get to have you as our companion and guide through all of life. Thank you for our listeners, Father, who came along on just eavesdropping on our little tea time chat, and we hope to have times to speak with them and engage with them in our little mighty network circle about anything that came up here and other things in the future too. But I just want to bless our listeners, God, that you've entrusted to us or that you've sent our way. We don't know all their names or their faces, but I know that you do, and that they are each your precious daughter that you care for so deeply. So, Father, in whatever stages of their motherhood and childbearing journey they find themselves, I just ask that you would meet them there by your Spirit and envelop them in your love and care, that you would speak into those places in their hearts where they need to hear from you, Father. If there's something that any of our listeners are just like, God, I need to hear from you about this. I need your direction. I need your guidance. I need your voice spoken into this area. Would you just give them the gift of hearing you clearly and receiving that from you? And anyone who's on the precipice of giving birth, I just ask for safe passage for all mamas and babies hearing this, that you would see them through their labor and birth time in an anointed way, meaning that you are with them, present in a special way, giving safe passage and the ministry of your presence. I pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right, friend. Till next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Holy Wild Birth. We hope that you were genuinely encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. If you're loving what you hear, please make sure that you share it. Leave reviews. That helps other mamas find this content as well. And don't forget to read the show notes, okay? Because that's where you can find our email address if you want to reach out to us and start a conversation. It's also where you'll find free offerings as well as invitations to work with me and or Lauren. We can't wait to get to know you. See you next week.